Alright guys, so we are back with some more MX versus ATV Reflex. Today we have 6 new Supercross tracks to check out. All these tracks are created by NWG, and they're all historical Supercross tracks. So this first one is 2001 Anaheim 1. And this track, all these tracks feel a bit different. I mean, all of them have, since they're all made by the same person, they all have a similar feeling, but they all feel a bit different, look a bit different. And this track was probably the most difficult track to play. Right before that triple, that step off or wheel tap section thing was kind of weird. And this section, doubling in, that's the best way I found to hit it. There's a bunch of different ways to hit it. He does have line choice on pretty much every track. He has an alternate line you can take. But that section I was talking about before, the whoop section, to double off of it, it's like some of these tracks felt as if the jumps were a bit rolled off. Just think MXGP track editor. You know how those jumps are very rolled off and it's hard to get any lift off of them? The jumps on some of these tracks felt that way. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying it's not a bad track. It was fun. It was actually really challenging to play for a player of my caliber. This is the second track. This track was probably one of my favorite ones to play. It's kind of a wheel tap city. Okay, so I think we hit 3 different wheel taps on this track, and it is, I'm pretty sure it's the longest track out of the 6 that we have here in this Supercross, historical Supercross track pack. But yeah, the longest track. I don't feel like it was that difficult. This track had a pretty good flow to it. It didn't really have any section that personally for me was like really difficult and I was having trouble getting for the video. By the way, we only really do like a lap and a half on each track because we have 6 of them to show you. Also, let me know in the comments which track is your favorite. This is probably one of them. I don't know if it's my favorite, but this is probably one of them. That section we just went through was probably one of the toughest sections because you have to hit that wheel tap just right, or it just doesn't really work out the way that at least I see he intended for it to be. This is 04 San Diego, Qualcomm Stadium. This track was really fun too. This section coming up after that Dragon's Back was actually kind of tough because before it was like full send everything, but that middle triple, you have to let off, check up a bit because otherwise you can't hit the triple out. Not the double out, the triple out. This triple coming up, this Supercross triple, very big. It wasn't tough, but you couldn't just lug the bike out of the corner and hit that. So this track was pretty fun too. Again, I don't know if it was my favorite one, but I didn't feel like it had anything odd or weird on it. It was just really well built. The finish line was a bit stretched out, but I see why he did it because you're carrying a decent amount of speed. And most of the tracks do feel a bit overscaled. I mean, I don't remember all these tracks. I do remember some of them, but I don't remember all of them. And they do feel a bit overscaled, but in Reflex, generally, the scaling is going to be a bit big. The part probably noticed the most was the Supercross triples in the finish line. Sometimes they were a bit spaced out. This track is 01 Anaheim 3. This track was pretty fun. This might be my favorite track he had. It felt like it had the best flow to it. That section we just went through is a bit weird, but I trust it was kind of that way in real life. Again, I don't really remember all these tracks, but aside from that section where it gets a bit slow, everything else on the track seemed to flow pretty good. This section you could mess up. It was tough to get up onto that table and then step off. Sometimes you overjump, but overall I felt like this is the track that, for me personally, I was able to find the best flow on and consistently hit the lines that I was going for. It didn't feel like it had as much line choice as some of the other tracks, but still, again, one of my favorites. I'm not sure. I said it was my favorite, but one of my favorites. At the end, we'll see. I'm not 100% sure which one's my favorite yet, but I do have a couple that I really did enjoy. That whoop section was fun. There was an alternate line here that I'd never hit because Well, I did hit it, but I didn't show you in the video because it just felt like the way we took it was definitely the superior way of doing it. And I know I don't show you every alternate line choice because I don't show you 2 full laps, but the way I was taking it, I feel like was probably the faster way if you're going to race. By the way, these tracks are part of a 17-round All-Star Race Series, I believe. These are the first 6, so I'm curious to see what else he comes up with. This track is 1996 Seattle. No, I don't remember this track whatsoever, but I trust he did it pretty good justice. It was fun. One of my favorites as well. This was probably one of my top 3 for sure. We do show you an alternate line you can take here. There is 2 lines. The finish line section here you can take 2 different ways, and then the section after this step on, step off triple you can take 2 different ways, which both of them feel very viable. I'm not really sure which one is faster. I feel like the double here is easier, but you can take the inside. I do show you on the half lap we have to show you here. This whoop section, also, the whoops he does are pretty difficult. I had trouble maintaining momentum. This double was pretty tough to get over. I had trouble maintaining my momentum in a bunch of his whoop sections on the track. They're really tough. He also had to thank Dark Slides 19 and Red Rider for their help. So Red Rider has some really tough whoop sections. I can see where, I'm not saying Red helped him with the whoops, but I can see where he might have drawn some inspiration from Red Rider for making the whoops. Here we take the alternate line over the finish line, and then we take the alternate line after the step on, step off triple. But really fun track, pretty flowy, not too difficult, looks good, feels different from the rest of them, and just a solid track overall. The last track we have is 1986 Anaheim, and you've seen that track in Supercross. We got it as DLC for Supercross 3. And this was my least favorite track. The sand section is a bit weird. It just feels like it's a full send track around the outside. It just didn't gel with me. It doesn't mean it's a bad track. It just means I didn't love this track very much. But 1996 Seattle was probably my favorite track out of all 6. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Again, let me know in the comments what your favorite track is. Again, mine was 1996 Seattle probably, but overall fun, historical Supercross track pack by NWG. I encourage you guys to try him out or check out his All-Star Race Series, and he should have 11 more coming. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot, and until the next video, take it easy.